The air in the village of Kizingo was thick with the scent of sun-baked earth and wood smoke, a comforting, familiar blanket. Here, nestled on the edge of the vast, whispering savanna, life moved to the rhythm of cautious tradition. 7-year-old Amara, however, was a bright spark of defiance, her spirit too wide for the confines of the village palisade. "Stay close, little one," her grandmother, Mama Zawadi, had warned, her voice lined with the memory of things the wild took. Amara had only nodded, her attention already snagged by a flash of impossible color. It was the gilded roller, a magnificent bird with plumage of turquoise, sapphire, and copper, a prize she'd only seen in her dreams. The bird flitted toward the brush, and the temptation became a physical tug. A single, silent second was all it took. Amara slipped away from the sound of laughter and the safety of the perimeter, following the lure of the shimmering creature. The ground quickly became uneven, the familiar, comforting paths giving way to thorny acacia and sun-scorched rock. She scrambled up a low, jagged outcrop of red stone, her chest heaving with the quick thrill of the chase. The roller landed briefly on a dead branch, its colors mocking her effort, then vanished over the horizon. Amara paused, realizing the utter silence around her. The chirping of the village was gone, replaced by a deep, unnerving hum. She turned to see the village, but the world had tilted. All that lay before her was an endless sea of tawny grass and stark, unfamiliar shadows. A cold dread, heavier than any she had ever known, clamped down on her small heart. Then, a deeper shadow fell across the sun-drenched rock where she stood, long, low, and impossibly silent. Amara's eyes tracked the shape up to the pair of predatory, golden-green eyes fixed directly on her. The chilling, silent form of a stalking leopard had found its mark. Her breath hitched, trapped in a soundless, terrifying gasp. The leopard's muscles bunched, a coiled spring of pure, silent menace. Amara couldn't scream, her throat was locked shut. The distance closed in a terrifying blur, the air vibrating with the silent promise of teeth and claws. In the nanosecond before impact, a terrifying roar tore through the savanna, shaking the very stones beneath her feet. An enormous shape, a magnificent blaze of golden mane and muscle, exploded from the dense thorn scrub. It was Mfalme, the scarred, notorious male lion known to dominate this entire territory. He hit the leopard not with a calculated attack, but a blinding, territorial fury. The ensuing fight was a savage, thrashing tangle of snarls, dust, and tearing hide, a primal ballet of death that lasted mere seconds. The leopard, outmatched and outfought, yelped a sharp retreat and vanished, disappearing into the tall grass. Amara sagged, the immediate terror replaced by a blinding, shaking relief. But that relief was short-lived. She was now alone with the greater predator, Mfalme. The lion, a mountain of power, turned its massive head, its amber eyes settling on the small, whimpering girl. Every story she had ever heard dictated his next move. Just then, a wave of shouting and the unmistakable clatter of hunting rifles echoed from the distance. The villagers were here. Amara saw her father and Mama Zawadi leading the charge, their faces etched with frantic, desperate resolve. They stopped dead at the sight, the lion, the girl, the lingering scent of blood. As the villagers raised their weapons, expecting to engage in a final, deadly confrontation, Mfalme lowered his enormous head. He didn't roar. He didn't even snarl. He gently, almost impossibly, nudged Amara's small body. Then, with an action that defied every law of the wild and man, he gripped the back of her dusty shirt ever so softly between his teeth, lifted her clear off the ground, and began to walk. He carried the trembling girl like a fragile cub, depositing her safely on the village boundary line, before melting back into the wild with a final, profound gaze. The villagers lowered their rifles, stunned into reverent silence by the impossible debt repaid.